Okay, guys, so we're doing the back of these. This is what we did in class. Okay, so we're using the elimination mode. And the elimination technique works when the columns are lined up. So right here. Okay, so the columns are lined up. We have the x's lined up, we have the y's lined up, we have the equals lined up, and we have the answers lined up. Okay, great. Now, when we have everything in that order, we can actually kind of do up and down. I'll show you what I mean. I'm just trying to get the right size of pen. There we go. Okay. So when I look at this, I see that the y's have a 2 and a 2. What I like to do is change the sign of everything on the bottom when that happens. So I'm gonna make this a negative, I'll make this a negative, and I'll make this a negative. So I just switch them all. That way I can just do positive 2 versus negative 2, and the y's cancel each other out. So there is no y's going down the column. So the y's cancel each other out. And that's why I made it negative. And then on the right side, I've got negative 3x minus 6x is negative 9x if I go down the column. The y's cancel each other out, and I've got 2 minus 2 is 0. All right, so that is actually a true fact from these two equations, that negative 9x is 0. I divide by negative 9, even though I already know what it is, x equals 0. So really quickly, just by seeing that there was a 2 and a 2 that matched up against each other, and I want them to be like one positive and one negative, I just switched everything in the bottom row. I multiplied by negative 1 so that those middle y's would take care of each other. And I got x equals 0. When I'm done with this, I have to go back to the top, and I have to say, okay, negative 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 2. Well, negative 3 times 0 is just 0 plus 2y equals 2. So 2y equals 2. I divide by 2. I think it's pretty obvious y equals 1. So in this equation, x is 0 and y is 1. Okay. I'll go down here. I'm just looking for numbers that can cancel each other out. When I look at the y, either the x's or the y's, 4 and 5 for the x's, those are kind of tricky. Like they both can go into 20, so that's not really what I want to do. But for the y's, if I just make this one twice as big, I'll have negative 4y versus positive 4y, and those will take care of the y's. So I'm going to make everything in the first equation twice as big. I'm going to make this negative 8. I'm going to make this one negative 4. Now, maybe you're rewriting the whole equation. I'm just doing it to save space right here. And I'm going to make this 6. All right, and now I can go down the rows. Negative 8 plus 5x, because this is positive, plus 5x is negative 3x. Negative 4y versus positive 4y's take care of each other. And 6 minus 3 is 3. I divide by negative 3, and x is negative 1. So this works when all the rows are lined up equally. All right, at the very end, I'm going to erase that. At the very end, I have to go back to one of the equations and plug it in. So if I plug in negative 1 for x, negative 4 times negative 1 minus 2y equals 3. Okay, negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4, so I'm going to write it over here. Positive 4 minus 2y equals 3. Subtract the 4. Negative 2y equals negative 1. Divide by negative 2. Y equals 1/2. So this was negative 1 for the x, negative 1/2 for y. And that should be down there. Yeah, it's right there. All right, same thing. Okay, let's see here. This one's already really taken care of for me. I could even just do like a substitution for this one. But, okay, they're already, even though it's a different order, the y's, the equals, the x's, and the numbers. Okay, great. This one, I'm just going to make the bottom one. I already see that the y's will cancel each other out, but they're both positive. So I'll make everything down here. I'll switch the sign. I'll make it negative. I'll make it positive. I'll make it positive. So by switching the signs, what I did really was multiply by negative 1. So now I have y minus y is 0 equals 8 plus 2x is 10x. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. So if I add 5 to get rid of it, I get 5 equals 10x divided by 10, x equals 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to take this back up and plug it in there. Y equals 8 times 1/2 minus 9. Y equals 4 minus 9. Y equals negative 5. So this was 1/2 comma negative 5. Let's see if that was down there. Yes, it was. All right, the first one. Okay, let's say for this one, I could cancel out the y's just by making everything negative, but I'll do something different. Because there's no really right or wrong way to go. My only thing is I want to cancel out one of the variables. So let's say I want to cancel out the x's. That means I'm going to have to make this twice as big. So this is going to want to be 6. So that means I'm basically multiplying everything in the bottom equation by 2. So instead of 1y, 2y, and 10. Okay, but I have negative 6 and negative 6. I want to make those cancel each other out. So I need to make this positive. So I'm basically switching all the signs on the bottom. Negative, and I'm making this negative as well. All right, so when I go through to do that and do y minus 2y is negative y, negative 6x plus 6x gets rid of that. Negative 4 minus negative 10 is negative 14. So then if I multiply, or if I divide by negative 1 or even multiply by negative 1, it gets rid of the negative and y equals positive 14. Okay, so 14, I plug in 14 for y. 14 equals negative 6x minus 4. Add 4, gets rid of it there. 18 equals negative 6x, divide by negative 6. X equals negative 3, because of the one negative. All right, so basically I'm just able to play with I'm able to play with the equations to try to cancel something out. Okay, when I look at S, I can either multiply the top by 3 to get the y's to cancel each other out, or by 4 to get the x's to cancel each other out. I'll do I don't know, it doesn't matter. It'll work out either way. I'll do the 4s, okay. So I'll make everything on top 4 times bigger. So this is 12, this is 4x, this is 4y. But I want them to cancel each other out, so I'll just make them negative. I can make the bottoms negative too. I'll make this negative, oh, and this negative too. Okay, negative. So I switch the signs of everything on bottom. So basically I multiplied the top by 4 and I multiplied the bottom by negative 1. Okay. 12 minus 8 is 4. 4 minus 4x's minus 4x's, get rid of the x's. 4y minus 3y is y. Y is 4. Okay, we know y is 4. I'm going to erase this so we can see. If y is 4, then 3 equals x plus 4. Minus 4, x equals negative 1. So x equals negative 1, y equals 4. So elimination mode works when you have two equations lined up, the x's are lined up, the y's are lined up, the equals are lined up, the numbers are lined up. Okay, in this one I'm going to multiply by 5. The reason why I'm going to multiply by 5 is so the x's have the same x's. So if I made this 5 times bigger, this is negative 5x minus 5y equals 25. And the good thing is we already have a negative versus a positive here on the x's. So those are going to cancel each other out. Negative 5x plus 5x gets rid of each other. Negative 5y minus 4y is negative 9y equals 25 plus 2 is 27. Divide by 9, or negative 9. Y equals negative 3. So that quickly I figured out y equals negative 3. Now I'm going to just kind of erase my... So this might be a little tough. Negative x minus negative 3. So remember, y is negative 3, so you're going to be subtracting a negative. Equals 5. So negative x plus 3, because negative times a negative, equals 5. Negative x, I'm going to subtract 3 equals 2. I'm going to divide by negative 1. X equals negative 2. And so negative 2 comma negative 3. Did I mess that up? No, it's there. Okay. It's there. Let's see. Next one. Okay. This one's kind of tough in that the columns aren't lined up. Right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this guy over here and rewrite it. Negative 3x plus 8y equals negative 3. I want the y's to be first. So right now I've got 8y minus 3x equals negative 3. I'm just trying to get it in this order. So I want the numbers on this side. So I'm going to add 3 over here and add 3 over here. Basically, so now I got 8y plus 3 minus 3x equals 0. I'm going to add 3x over here. So 8y plus 3 equals 3x. Basically, all I did was rearrange this by moving things to other sides to get it in the same order. Now when I match it up with this, so I rearranged the top one to fit the order of the bottom one, and it's 8y plus 3 equals 3x. Okay, look, they're the same equation. The same equations will always agree with each other. They're exactly the same. So this is infinite solutions. So once we rearrange the equations and put them in the same order, then we found out they were the same. All right, this one, they're in the right columns. Let's see, I'll just make the top 2 times bigger, so this will cancel out the 6. So this will become 8, this will become negative 6, this will become negative 4. And I'm happy that the signs are negative and positive in the y column, so I don't have to change any of the signs. 8x plus 3x is 11x. The y's cancel each other out. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so x equals 0. Okay, so we know x is 0. So I'm going to go back in here and plug it in. 4 times 0 minus 3 times y equals negative 2. 4 times 0 is 0, so just negative 3y equals negative 2. Divide by negative 3. Y equals 2/3. So this is 0, 2/3. Is that one? Yes, it is the last one. And finally, t. Okay, t in the right order, good. The numbers that I see that'll cancel out are the 8 and the 2, so I'll make the bottom equation 4 times bigger. So that'll make this 12. That'll make this 8. That'll make this, 14 times 4 is 16, carry the 1, 4, 56. Okay, so we've got negative 5x, positive 12 is positive 7x. Negative 8y plus 8y cancels each other out, equals 56. Divide by 7. X equals 8. Okay, we know x equals 8. Okay, we know x equals 8, so this is going to be kind of ugly. We know negative 5x minus 8y equals 0. Negative 5 times x was 8. 8 minus 8y equals 0. Negative 40 minus 8y equals 0. I'm going to add 40 to both sides. Negative 8y equals 40. Divide by negative 8. Y equals negative 5. So tough? Yeah, pretty tough. Pretty tough. So if you got through that, nicely done. Any more questions, let me know. I go fast on these because I just assume you can hit pause. So I would never teach them this fast, but I assume you could just pause them and go over them again a bunch of times. Okay, good luck. See you tomorrow.